We're at an agency. Our main office is in Phoenix. I'm in LA. Been doing this since 2005. We finally figured out what we think our core message is. It's something called Transcendent Marketing, and we're actually registering the trademark now. And ultimately what that means is we move you ahead of competitors. That's really what it's about. And all digital, whether it's building, well, you'll see what it's about. But I love Calvin and Hobbes, so I try to always include one in one of my presentations. So, and what I've learned is a small aphorism: plan the dive, dive the plan to avoid the panic. So that's what this one's about. So let's dive deep. So first is, just so you know who I am, I'll give you a couple of bona fides. So these are some of the more recent websites that we've designed and built. Some of them are on WordPress, and some of them are on a platform that we own called Adricom, which you'll see. It's like a fully loaded e-commerce platform. So this is one company. They're selling to big companies like Qualcomm and hospitals. They sell all the printers. When you go to concerts and you have the badges for security, they do all the security systems. So they sell to like the US Open and to government contracts, stuff like that. So this is running inside Adricom, which competes with Shopify and BigCommerce and Magento. It's its own platform. Michael has seen it before. So here's another one. If you watched Entourage, these cookies were mentioned in Entourage. They're called Deluscious. So this is a woman who has a big factory selling cookies through the mail and delivery in LA. They're apparently really good. I've never tried them. She says they're kosher, but what can I say? Newport Children is a 4-clinic pediatric office in Southern California, just to give you a sense of building websites for medical practices. So we have small and large clients. This one, he discovered a
Jason, let me interrupt. You have it in a mode where we see both the current slide and the next one.
Let me see.
It'll make it bigger.
Yeah. How do you do that?
Not sure.
Me either. Let's see. Wait a second. Maybe it's.
Should be present of some sort as opposed to
thumbnail. No, that's not it. I don't know how you do it.
It's not one of those at the bottom. Huh?
Anyone know how to do that? Hide presenter view? No.
You can take it off.
Yeah, I think it is hide presenter view. I think it's hide presenter view.
No, that's not it.
No, that's not it.
But I think that's better though. It's bigger.
I'll leave it like this. It's fine.
Okay, this is bigger. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so this guy discovered a heart protein. You take a test in a regular blood test, and he can tell you if you have early chance of a heart disease, as an example. So this is a brand new company. So this actually animates when you see it. It's kind of cool. So last one, it's not a very pretty site, but the reason I'm putting it up, this is like a 199-year-old company. It was designed to look the way it looks because that's what they wanted. So not everything we're doing is going to look like museum quality. It's just we designed for the individual or for the company. In terms of SEO results, on Sunday, I decided to go print out year-over-year results. So here are a couple of companies, again, from different categories. This one, you'll see the most important number is the one over here. So they grew 113%. And this is just organic from year over year, at least through February. That's one. Here's another. This one is a surgeon who gets crazy traffic, 177,000 people in the year for he operates on women to tighten up their downstairs after they have kids, and he's getting crazy traffic. This one is a PI attorney in LA, huge growth there. This is a licensing attorney, different amount of, actually this traffic's crazy in terms of a year over year. So, and then this one is, he sells sewing machines of all things. Again, this is just showing you the source of the traffic is the fact that the rankings increase. I mean, double the, about double the number of just top 3 rankings of keywords contributing to traffic. So, and that's just an example. So as I like to say, enough of the bona fides. So we're a full agency. You don't have to read all these. I can send it out afterwards, but we do everything you'd imagine digitally. So here's the question. How do we help clients transcend? And by transcend, I mean, how do you move ahead of competitors? I've distilled it down to 3 parts, which is what I call the technical stuff, primal content, and targeted outreach. And so by technical, that's just like SEO is a technical game. Yeah, you need content, but you really need to understand the technical aspect of it. Running ad campaigns is very technical. Primal content means it should really elicit a response from people, which impacts how blogs are perceived, social media is perceived, And targeted outreach is use the analogy of an iceberg. Like what you see above the waterline, that's just like a blog post, but it's the 90% below the waterline that is promoting that content or getting backlinks to that article that really push up your the outcome that you're looking for. This is the back end, just a couple of screenshots of the platform that is running our e-commerce businesses. So this is kind of the dashboard screen when you walk in. This is, and you can see the website at adricom.net if you want to take a look at it. But this is just giving you an example of one interface controls so much stuff that's going in, that's available to you. And it's e-commerce is only one aspect of it. There's events, there's a whole CMS built in, tons of stuff. This is just an example of the interface. The reason this thing is here with the pop-up is that you can create interfaces, fields, however you want. It's all dynamic. So it's very robust in that. And then this is just giving you an example of like an e-commerce listing stuff. So that's kind of the basic stuff. All right, so what is primal content? Primal content is, this is kind of our guideline. We just saw a survey now. It said that the blogs that get the most reading or readability action are 2,000 plus words in terms of articles. So we try to write to one reader and then expand from that. Pick one topic, one core keyword. They have depth, but you put in subheadlines. So because people don't necessarily read all the content. I'm going to show you what this is in a couple of slides. I give a whole webinar on what I call Hollywood content. Evergreen is if you're either writing trending, which is temporal, or something that could a year from now will still be good. Think about geographic mentions if there's local SEO. From an SEO perspective, we advise clients to do 2 to 4 posts a month. So how do we figure out what to write about? So we look at things like talking to the clients, looking at competitors, looking at Google Analytics to see which search terms are getting traffic, and we get that by the landing pages. Pain points, I mean, the basic stuff that you think about. Here are a couple of tools that we use, and I didn't use everyone because everybody knows about Grammarly and things like that, but also Asked and CoSchedule are 2 things that are kind of helpful. And this is just whatever pages we're building, we have to make sure that we're testing them technically, because like I said, it's technical, it's content, and it's outreach. So this is what Hollywood type content looks like. These are all custom graphics that are inside a page that we built for a client that wrote well, we wrote it for him, but it's like a white paper on what is a medical malpractice case. So when you're looking at a page like this with lots of content in between, it's much more readable and enjoyable, and Google tends to stick around longer because, and people stick around longer because they're not bored just by plain text. So here are examples of things that we do inside content. These are all custom created graphics for another client that is an expert witness for CPAs. It's a very peculiar business, but when you're looking at his very long post and this breaks up the content, it at least captures attention. Here's one for an accident attorney, all custom graphics. So just more examples. This is one of the biggest things that you can do for SEO. We call it correlation analysis. The idea is that you're breaking down a page by about 700 different elements that are available, and you're comparing to 100 ranked pages. So this was just giving an example of the things that we looked at for this LA car accident lawyer. These are all different parameters that we were trying to figure out. For example, if the top 10 pages all have posts that are over 1,000 words, don't put up a post for 500 words and think you're going to get ranked. That's kind of the idea. We're doing, by the way, do people know about correlation analysis in the group? And I can't see any of you, unfortunately, but.
Never heard of it.
Okay.
Is it like attribution?
I don't know what you mean by that.
I don't think it is.
Attribution is basically, it's like if you're doing a lead gen campaign and you're using multiple channels like omni-channel.
No, unrelated. This is, I know what you're talking about. No, this is actually looking at the page. So for example, it counts the number of times there's an H2 tag on a page, H3. How many paragraph tags are there? It's all sorts of technical things, of which there's 700 variables that you can look at on any web page to determine why is somebody beating you. Rajiv knows all about this stuff. So Paid social, just giving you examples. Some ad campaigns. These are actually, they look ridiculous, but they work. So.
So you have 5 minutes left, Jason?
I need 2.
Okay, and then you have your questions.
Not even, almost done. The scheme
5 minutes.
analysis is a huge thing because this is just giving an example. I tried not to include things that most people should know about. I wanted to just come up with things that you don't know.
Right.
ADA compliance, you may have heard of, but in this room, we've heard about it 100 times. And so this is just giving you an example of a tool called the Wave tool. That's kind of like the most basic parameter you can measure to see if your pages are approaching ADA compliance. It's a big deal now because Google's looking at it. Even though the lawsuits are going down, still they're looking at it. And the last thing is, these are links, in case I send this out, to articles that are like this Hollywood type content. I'll give you one just because we're on it. Hold on. And that's it. I wanted to just go here. So you see, if you go down here, you can click down and you've got, it's a very, very comprehensive article all about medical malpractice for a lawyer. So, and we got a whole bunch of articles like that we've done. So that's
I have a question. I got a question. How do you break down in terms of revenue, let's say, I guess is a good way to break it down, between sort of website builds, SEO, and advertising, pay-per-click?
So building of websites is maybe 15% of revenue. I mean, we build a lot of websites, but just from a revenue standpoint, it's not a huge part of it. Maybe it's 20%, or that side of the business has increased a lot. SEO is still the majority. Social is about 20. And then pay-per-click is mixed into social, but the pay-per-click is probably 10%, probably around that much, yeah. But I would say a good 50% is SEO. The reason SEO is the starting point.
Jason, where do you put content in that mix? Is that SEO?
It's all together. I mean, it is SEO, but social. We have 2 content writers, so that we're creating. We're most of the time is actually spent editing and coming up with the ideas. We're still going to Upwork and we're finding writers around the world that have industry expertise to write the core article. And we're not even pretending to say this is the best content, but between the graphics and the editing and everything like that, it works for Google, and the readers, it works. I'm not going to say that's the content that positions you as an authority, but it definitely positions your website as authoritative. Let's put it that way.
Right. There's the balance of, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Jason, do you get involved with LinkedIn advertising at all?
Yeah, I didn't put it on here, but I have a whole channel that does it. It's a small part of it. I deal with that myself, and we're doing LinkedIn outreach on, as a matter of fact, you know what I should share with you guys? A guy who can help boost your LinkedIn reach for like $50 a month. He has a program that you have to invest like a half hour every time you do a post, but you'll if you have 5,000 followers, you'll easily break 1,000 every time you post something.
Wow.
It's pretty cool stuff. I'll put the link.
Michael, what's your feel? I'm assuming Michael, Jason, somebody introduced me to LemPods. What's your view there?
This is better than that because it's private. LemPods are public. You want to stay away from it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a take on LemPods, but better.
What I didn't, so I don't know if everybody knows about it. What I didn't like, and so I'll just sort of offer this thought. What I didn't like about LemPods, and maybe, buyer beware, I didn't realize this, is I was getting reactions to posts like, hey, Dan, thanks for the comment or whatever. And I didn't post that. So
just stay away from it. Not Google, LinkedIn looks for those automations.
Yeah, I didn't realize that LemPods was posting something on my behalf. I just thought it was tricking the algorithm in some sort of amplification, but it was actually posting on my behalf, which I did not like.
Here, go.
So
you guys can all check it out. It's called Velocity Jam.
Velocity Jam. Okay, cool.
Yeah, check them out. It's basically what happens is you join a network. You either pay 50 or $100 a month. I forget what the number is. He's changing it around. When you post, you have to first of all schedule when you're going to post. He has like certain days of the week and time periods. When you do it, everybody else is posting at that same time period. And then what happens is you have to spend 15 minutes to 30 minutes to post a comment on all of their posts. And all the people are going to post comments on yours. When the network is large enough, LinkedIn can't figure out who's in the network because there's a randomizing factor. The metric goal is 15 people within 2 hours to post something. To post a comment. That breaks you through the first circle on LinkedIn because you only get 6 to 8% exposure of any post that you put. And even if you have 10,000 people, you'll only hit 6 to 8%. So when you break through in those 2 hours, you get to the next layer. That's how virality is built.
Very cool. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Jason. All right. We have about 35 minutes. I see Rajiv is applauding.
By the way, did that make sense? Just so I understand, because I went through it real fast.
Yeah, you covered a lot of material, but it was.
No, it's definitely the shotgun approach.
Okay. I thought it was, I tried to, your guys are high level. I didn't want to waste time.
It was a great presentation, Jason. I really liked seeing the web work that you've done, and I like how you laid out the messaging very much. It was very concise and impressive.
Thank you. Who likes primal content? I came up with that today.
I like it. Primal content. It's like a primal scream, but it's
I
primal
had
content.
killer content, then I went primal. That's even better.
Will you share your presentation?
Sure, I'll give you.
Well, although Jason, let me, and I don't know, Michael, maybe I need to cede my time. So when you say primal content, right? If you're, to me as a comms guy and writer, content marketing, to me primal content is great content that will position you as a thought leader, not just drive traffic to your website.
Yeah, I want to go one step further. When I said primal, I mean it elicits a visceral response. That's what the goal should be.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And,
I'm not saying we achieve it, but that's definitely matters.
Right. Like, yeah, cute dogs like that. Okay. So
thank you.
So, visceral response. All right. So Scott Lang, you still here? Did you drop? There he is. All right. So if I put in the chat the order, so we'll go Scott, Larry, Mark, and then Rochelle, and 2 minutes. And today is if you can add your favorite type of customer, the perfect customer, and if you could say the one you've actually had that fits that best without necessarily mentioning their name and why.
Right. Can I mention their name?
You can if you'd like.
Oh, okay. All right.
You're up.
Well,
2
thank
minutes.
you very much. It's nice to be here again and say hello to all the people that already know me. And for those of you that don't, my name is Scott Lang. I live in New York, Manhattan. Basically what I do is partnerships and alliances, marry brands with solutions, put together advertising programs. I've been an advertising, marketing, and sports marketing and sponsorship executive for many years. So basically those are the various disciplines that I work in, as well as SaaS. And I didn't mention digital marketing, but the firm I work with, Jason, I think you'd blow out of the water compared to where I was working. But those are really the areas. I mean, I have a long background with marrying brands with stuff. Example, I consult Rex Optics. It's a sunglass company and a prescription eyewear company based out of Boca Raton. They do exclusively e-commerce. I consult the client on sports marketing and also on digital marketing. I have other clients in different verticals and I principally provide advisory services. So I'm not so much involved in the activation as to take the client and introduce them to a digital shop, or take the client and introduce them to a sports property or whatever. And then in that concept, I'm getting a retainer and I'm helping him to build his business. That's an illustration of what I do.
So Rex Optics is that ideal customer or one of your ideal customers?
It's an ideal customer. I'm bringing on another ideal customer where we hope in the disinfectant category, working with the team. And then I also do, I'm writing blogs for an AI company. I'm, this type of thing. So sometimes I'm putting the marriages together and other times I'm actually doing some advertising work myself.
Okay, thank you so much. Next would be Larry Joseph. He has to run. Larry, you still here? Well, Larry, I guess, ran before. Larry's no longer here. Sorry, Larry. Mark T-Ball.
Okay, Mark T-Ball, growth strategy. Favorite customer, huh? Well, one of the customers I have is a company that goes by the initials MM. They're down here in Florida. And what they do is they specialize in medical information, but they also do some other things, including now they're branching out into telemedicine. So that's a pretty interesting client for me. But anyway, that's what I do. I work for private companies, private equity groups, investment banks, and accountants and attorneys usually are my best friends. And what I do is I build go-to-market strategies. I build, positioning studies. Basically anything pre-branding. That's what I do.
And based in South Florida.
Yes, I am.
Land of no
Beautiful.
taxes.
Yes, beautiful West Palm Beach.
Okay, with a view to Mar-a-Lago. That's not in West, is that in West?
No, not that far.
That's further south.
I'm on the edges of West Palm Beach. I do not live anywhere. I live about 10 miles from him though. So.
All right. Okay, next, Rochelle, you are up.
Okay, when it comes to business, your number one skill is sales and presentation. And whenever we present, I always ask, are you storytelling or boring telling? Being able to tell an amazing story of how do you pull a rabbit out of a hat, that's what's going to distinguish you from anybody else. I want to know, like, what's your magic? What's your sweet spot? What's your secret sauce? And an emotional story will tell me just that. So creating those emotional stories, I just absolutely love doing that. Great clients. I love family-owned businesses. First generation comes in, second generation comes, takes over. There's a lot of conflict within the organization, and then there's so much rich history that we need to tell these amazing stories, and very rarely are they told. The owner knows it, the next generation doesn't, nor do any of the key players in the company. So I worked with a pest control company for years, and the guy went from like local or regional to national. So it was just an amazing story just with that one character. Family-owned business. Also, I worked with a wall covering, high-end wall covering. They went from 45 people when I started working with them to like 160. And some of his stories were, I can cry thinking of them right now. So amazing storytelling is terrific for today because we buy from emotion. And I guess that's about what we're talking about for the moment. And I thank everybody for being here tonight. I love seeing everybody.
All right. Dan, Prince, then Faith, then David.
Hey, Michael, are we on share screen mode?
You want to? Yeah, you can do that.
Excellent. So I'm going to take a page out of Jason's book, and I'm going to let some pictures do the talking here for me. Everybody see that? My screen decision? Yeah. Right. So the good news here is, or I'll tell you what, we're going to make this participatory. Scott, I'm going to call on you. Here's a list of one of these companies is my client, and this is their competitive set. Who's my client, Scott?
Could you do that again? I'm sorry.
So this is a list of one of these companies is my client. The rest is the competitive set. Which one of these companies right here in the middle is my client?
Resilience Insurance, of course.
Attaboy. Good
It's
catch.
not at bay, you sure?
Well done. I'm sure it's not at bay. Although I did talk to him a while back. So the reason why I'm taking a page from Jason is, PR, communications, B2B, storytelling, I love that, the emotional piece of it. But there's also a fair bit of analytics that goes into it. So I use this dashboard on a regular basis. I can click into Cowbell, for example, is our nemesis. So on any given day, I can click in. Sorry? I
said more cowbell.
Yeah. So on any given day, I can click in and I can see here's where Cowbell got coverage. So I can see the blogs, SNL Financial, the insurer, right? I can look through these places and see where's Cowbell getting coverage, or Corvus Coalition, so on, that we're not. Now, obviously, you can see, we're doing pretty well. So that's the analytics side of it. And I do this tracking on a regular basis just to make sure that, that frankly, I'm keeping my client number one and number two in share of voice because I like getting paid every month. I like delivering results. I also use this dashboard to see where's the competition getting coverage where I'm not. Insurance, InsurTech is one category, professional services, the broader.
Very colorful. I like it.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So Faith Tomasis. Still here, Faith?
Faith, you're on mute.
Are you there, Faith?
Yeah.
Faith is-
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? I'm a verbal brand strategist, and I get involved in the, I was interested to hear that somebody's pre-branding because I get involved in post-branding with the verbal parts of projects, specifically name development, copywriting, positioning, messaging. And I work very closely with graphics designers in the logo design, development and implementation of all of that. And my ideal client is someone that has a communications challenge. Either the environment has changed and their identity or their name no longer works, such as Aunt Jemima, or a new product that's being introduced and they need an identity and positioning. And my ideal client is a graphics design firm or a marketing firm that has a steady flow of business to give to me. So I don't have to look for it.
All right. And I know you have a couple of partners like that.
I like the verbal piece. I like the verbal brand.
Yeah.
Sorry, gotta go.
All right. Take care, Scott.
Bye.
All right. We're going to have some extra time here, so we could always talk about other stuff. But let me, who is next? That would be after Faith, David Nadell, then David Kohlberg.
Hi everyone, I'm Dave Nadell. I have an agency called Ventropy Media. I basically do a lot of the same things that Jason does, and thank you, Jason, for that awesome presentation. I like your data-driven approach. I like your branding, how you came up with the positioning for those things. I'd love to talk to you offline. And basically, I tell clients that I make their websites perform better and more effective and more efficient for them. So the best kind of clients for me are ones who already have made a significant investment in digital media and for some reason are not getting the efficiency or the effectiveness they're expecting or need. They might be working with other agencies or multiple agencies, and I will come in and either work with who they want me to work with and try and optimize or pick up some of the work myself and take it over. That's pretty much what I do. And
David just recently rebranded to Ventropy, correct? How long ago?
Right. It's a made-up word, Ventropy Media. It basically stands for versus entropy. So because I'm against disorder and disarray, so I try to bring order and for my clients so that they know what's going on.
How do you spell that?
It's the word entropy with the letter V in front, ventropymedia.com. I'll put it in the chat.
And he is, of course, listed in the trustref.net, so you can find him there under Ventropy. Okay.
Ventropy.
Ventropy, exactly. Okay. So who is next? That would be David Kohlberg.
All right, thank you. Hey, Dave, good story behind the name. I have a company called Adjunct Media, and I went with adjunct because it's something added. So I work with a lot of advertisers who already are doing Google, already doing a couple of things, and that's where I step in. What are the next steps? What can you do outside the low-hanging fruit that you can do yourself? So that's just one part of the business. I've worked for a company called National Ad Force for over 10 years doing the same thing, but I was like, hey, why don't I do this on my own instead of somebody else just paying me a little bit of commission for my time and what I'm doing here. I'm selling podcast advertising as well and going to grad school part-time. So keeping very, very busy during these times where we're all sitting in our apartments, in our houses as well. As for Jason's product and Dave as well, timing is perfect. I'm running a cost per call campaign for a hearing aid client. And I just happened to do a Google search for them and have it open right here. And first, let's see what shows up when I do a search for their name specifically is a couple videos about hearing aids.
You can show that if you want to share your screen.
Just some questions, but then this is what's interesting and why I think I need your help, because I did mention to him 2 days ago, the head of marketing over there. I haven't heard back, but the first organic listing on Google says hearing aid ripoffs. Avoid this brand. I mean, this is horrible. And the first thing that came to my mind is you guys should create a ton of microsites with your name on it so the Google spiders can find it and bump that listing down.
So Rajiv Jadhav, who has yet to speak, is a specialist in reputation management.
So yeah, that's part of it, because this isn't even their site. And their site doesn't show up on page one. Then I do a search just for hearing aids, and no other hearing aid companies are running paid search, which blows my mind. And they told me they are because I'm running a cost per call program for them. So I'm running in like 10 different places, and they hit me up this morning, get me more calls. I'm like, can we look at the quality and see how these calls are converting? Do I need a better IVR, or can you guys do a better job converting? So I have biweekly calls with this client. Their doors are open. They want me to run a managed programmatic campaign, but I told them it wouldn't be successful, being that they're looking for an older audience, and calls are such a lower funnel than running a click campaign with native ads or video or anything else. So a lot I can do with this client, and I'd love your guys' help to run.
Although I will say that oftentimes it's the kids who tell, find for the parents. I mean, kids, we in our 50s and 60s, whatever, when our parents are in their 80s and they can't hear anything anymore, or even, it could happen in your 60s and 50s, whatever. People lose hearing early. Thank you.
All right, great.
And I kept myself from saying what? All right.
I talk quick. I'm from New York.
No, it was all about the hearing aids. Julie Livingston, you are up.
Hello, everybody. I'm Julie Livingston. My company is Want Leverage Communications, full service marketing communications agency. And we work with under the radar businesses that are either 3 or 5 years into their lifespan, or companies that have been sort of flying under the radar for a while, but have recently noticed a dip in sales, or their social media traffic, fans and followers are kind of stagnating, and they really want to raise their public presence, their brand visibility, and their credibility or industry leadership and authority among key target audiences. So I help them do that through a variety of techniques, from communications, public relations, media relations, getting them featured in the news outlets that matters to them, whether it's contributed content or news mentions, executive thought leadership. But we also do digital campaigns, paid campaigns, in addition to getting clients earned media coverage as well. And I think that what people know me for is really helping them break through. So to break through the clutter and to get them noticed and recognized in a way that they deserve, so that they can outshine their competitors. I've worked in a lot of different product categories, currently working with a telehealth company, but I've done a lot of work in the family marketing space, in health and wellness, for associations, and nonprofits and education.
Do you know Angela Kaysen? She also works in education.
I don't.
She's in the group. Look her up. And if you need her company name, what is Angela Kaysen's company name?
Tempo or something.
Hold on, I'll tell you in a sec.
Thank you.
Angela Kaysen. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not easy to look up people by their name.
Tell me how do you spell her last name?
Kaysen, Caslon. I think it's like tempo strategic.
I'll find her.
Tempo
It's
strategic.
Tempo strategic.
Tempo, Tempo. Okay, yeah, Yale summer program is one of her big clients. And I don't think she does the PR work. Okay, so who was next? That would be Rajiv and then Victor.
We still have the screen share thing, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So since everyone is doing show and tell today, I thought, hey, let me try something different.
Go for it.
By the way, shout out to Jason. Loved your presentation. I love the amount of data that he put in there. And those kind of pictures also tell fantastic stories. So kudos to you. Okay, so in the remaining time that I have, let me try and see if this works. Let's see.
By the way, change deletes to blows away for bazooka.
Yeah.
Image is everything. Reputation management delivered at the speed of thought. R Squared Media helps clients be seen or not be seen. Be the only one your customers see on page 1 of Google, Facebook, YouTube, and more. Have your fake news removed from page 1 of Google. R Squared Media is a certified minority-owned business with the City of New York and winner of the 2017 Minority Business of the Year Award. Clients love R Squared Media because we're fun to work with and deliver results at the speed of thought. Visit rsquared.media to schedule a consultation today.
Yeah, so that was my little show and tell. Hopefully,
Great.
Thank you. Hopefully the audio.
It was great. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so we focus on helping clients be seen or not be seen, which is either helping them be number 1 on Google or the only one on Google. You know, complete saturation, completely eclipsing everyone. If you have the appetite and budget for it, obviously. And on the flip side, if you are under the persecution of horrible, nasty people that are flooding your Google with 1-star reviews and, unfair bad press, we can get all that stuff deleted. And we work with a 100% money back guarantee that's time-based. So if we say we're going to get something done in 90 days and we can't get it done, you get your money back, no questions asked. So that's how we work, and we're looking for meeting more, marketers, and we're very happy to have our services white labeled by anyone. So we work with either white label or referral, either works. And as far as introductions go, it would be great if we could be introduced to talent agents, which could be agents that are responsible for either actors or athletes. Because those people usually have oversight over when anything goes sideways, as well as if anyone knows somebody that does political campaigns, they also might be connected to somebody, when it comes to any sort of crisis or whatever. So that's broadly the ask. I'll put it in the chat too. Yeah, thank you all for your attention, and have an epic rest of the week.
Epic. Wow. Okay. I'll take you up on that.
I'll settle for pretty good.
And Rajiv, I didn't know you were a minority-owned business, so that's something you could check off when you update your listing. So please do, and make sure that I don't have too many people who have that qualification. Victor, I hope you're still here.
Yep, still here. Thanks, Michael. Hi, everybody. So I've recently taken on a gig to be a CMO for my client, which is that we're an on-demand elder services app. And so let me just show you what that means. So this is basically our app. And the idea, oops, can anybody see this?
No,
or not?
You haven't shared it.
I haven't shared, oops. I guess it would help if I click share screen. Right, there we go. Okay, so the idea, this kind of goes to Michael's point earlier, right? If any of us have an elderly relative and they need to go to the doctor, but we just can't be there, then we can send what we're calling our Zage Pros. The company's called Zage, and our team are called Zage Pros. And our slogan is, when you can't be there, we are. So we can take your aunt to the doctor, we can take your mother shopping, get a haircut, all those kinds of things. So it's fairly straightforward. And in terms of Michael's questions, in terms of the clients we're looking for, they're really 1A and 1B is how I'd look at it. 1A is the people who have elderly relatives who need help. And we're happy to dive right in. And obviously, those are the paying clients for our service. The 1B, which is where I'm spending a lot of my time, is the next level, which is professionals who play in the elder services space and could potentially refer us to other clients. So along those lines, I want to make a couple of shout outs. Julie Livingston, for example, has introduced me to her husband, she's a very brave woman. So her husband is a financial planner that specializes in older folks. So we're having some conversation with him. I've had a conversation with Rochelle about somebody who designs senior living facilities. So that's certainly a potential. Rajiv has introduced me to somebody to whom we're now talking to somebody who creates digital archives for older people. So there's a whole network, a whole ecosystem of people who play in the elder space. And we're happy to talk to anybody and everybody in that realm. And so David Kohlberg would love to have a conversation with you, certainly about the hearing aids and things like that. So we're definitely looking for partners. There's a lot of elder folks out there. A lot of them need help. They want to stay away from nursing homes, I guess, especially if you live in New York, thanks to Governor Cuomo. And there's I don't mean to kid about it, but nursing homes are tough places. So to the extent your relatives can stay independent and we can help, we'd love to have a conversation. Hi, Faith. Yes.
Yeah. What's your geographic region?
Right now, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens.
So it's just New York, Metro New York. You're not national.
Correct. And then the next will be like southeastern Florida, the Palm Beach Gardens and so on and so forth. But I don't think we'll take Trump as a client.
You wouldn't get paid.
That's exactly right. Good point.
All right, I added one in there for
elder
you as well.
care. You should look into elder care attorneys, because that would also be a sweet spot for you.
Yes, exactly, 100%. Attorneys, financial advisors like Julie's husband, folks like that are terrific.
Cool. All right. So I will go, and I don't know why it used to be when I spoke the speaker view, I would show up, but it doesn't happen anymore. It's probably because of some sort of configuration issue. So I didn't miss anybody, did I? Okay. So I will time myself. So Michael Bendit, and my company's Software Development Resources. Of course, I do this as well. I do a lot of networking, and that's how I generate my business. My best clients, there's two types of best clients. One is a small digital marketing agency that does websites, does mobile applications, but they don't always have the resources in-house to do it. So I have a client or a partnership with a company called FlightPath. They have about, 15 people and maybe 2 programmers, but they send us a lot of business because they're oftentimes overrun and they don't have either the right skill set in-house or they don't have enough resources in-house with the 2 programmers they have. And then the other type of client that's great, sort of a flywheel client, is like a startup that needs just 1 or 2 people, but they don't want to hire them. So they outsource that capability, but they're using them almost as a full-time resource. And we do that type of work as well. So that's sort of staff augmentation as opposed to project work. My background is in technology. I have a computer science degree. I haven't programmed in years, but I've always stayed on top of what's going on in the programming world. And so I can translate between what I call geek speak and business speak. And I spend a lot of time doing that. And helping the client get on board and feel comfortable with a new developer, with a new development team, and matching them.
Where's some of your teams from? Like when you talk about overseas, some of them are local, some of them are overseas. Where do you resource? I mean, Are you using teams from Israel, from?
Yeah, so most of
everywhere?
my teams are the ones I do the most work with are dual shore teams. So they've got like 1 or 2 people here, and then they've got most of the developers offshore. And the developers tend to be either in South or Central America, Eastern Europe, or South Asia.
Okay.
So those are sort of the predominant areas. In fact, I think that covers everybody, all of my teams. Now I do have some domestic teams as well, because some people just want to have an entirely domestic team.